What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Now it is spooky season. Ooh, here in the Bianconeri zone. Will you get tricked or will you be treated when it comes to the summer mercado? We have some updates of some rumors that are out there of players that Juventus are interested in, as well as Gazzetta dello Sport has dropped their list of the top 50 football world head coaches that we have. How did your boy Max Allegri land? Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro, and today it is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Of course, I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus on the news you care about each and every day. Before we do anything though, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, stay notified for all of our latest videos. And also, while we're here, let me go ahead and remind you guys that you should consider joining the member squad if you haven't already. A lot of cool benefits you get there. You get the loyalty badges, you get emojis, you get the Discord chat through all of them, but then there's options for everybody and how much you can afford. Obviously, some are more affordable, some of them are a little bit more pricey, but that helps our channel and you really help to support us to continue what we do here each and every day. Also, the next tier, the lounge level, you get access to the wallpapers, and then at the very top you get 5 times the opportunity of the giveaways we do here on the channel. Hopefully we'll be doing another one soon, and of course you also get access to the members prediction league when you access that, so consider joining that today. You have a chance to win at the end of the season an official Juventus jersey, Juventus store gift card, or an entire year free to the Bianconeri Zone. Consider signing up for that today. All right, let's get into it. What news do we have for you today? Again, I said a little bit earlier, make sure you smash that like button. If you're on this channel, if you support us, I appreciate it. Smash that like button. All right, let's get into it. Will the news be a trick or will it be a treat? Well, let's first get into this for Juventus. And when it comes to the top 50 players that coaches that Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting on, obviously some of this can be biased. Any kind of top 50 list is always going to have some kind of biases, regardless of if it's based on stats or not. But anyway, here they have right now, number 1 through 5. I don't know if I wouldn't say they're obviously surprising, but they're interesting to say the least. Number 1 is Pep Guardiola. Of course, the coach had Manchester City and a long-time Juventus heartthrob, one that we've been trying to get and wanting to see here. Well, let's be honest, it's not happening. Number 2, Carlo Ancelotti. Number 3, Jurgen Klopp. Of course, Carlo Ancelotti just winning the Champions League recently, and then of course the same thing with Jurgen Klopp. And then of course number 4, the most important one for all Juventus fans is our boy. Right, I'm back to saying boy. I'm back on it. I'm back on the train, baby. Our boy, our man, Antonio Conte. Come back, please, sir. Come back. Come back to the club. Come back. I'm not groveling. I'm doing a little bit. No, I'm kidding. Okay, let me just get this out of the way. I'm joking here. I know there's a little bit sounds groveling. It's just fun. I'm just having fun with this. But if we're being honest, the coaching situation, it ain't good. This is not good enough. We got to get better, right? The one guy who I think can do this and one guy who knows he can set the groundwork for a better Juventus is Antonio Conte. What a better way to fix his relationship with the club. All right, now we can get back to being jokey and over the top. Number 5, Stefano Pioli. That was very interesting, obviously, given what he has done at Milan. Definitely has been a good choice to resurrect that program. We going down in the top 50. Number 42, another interesting one for Juventus, is Igor Tudor. And then 2 coaches who did not make the top 50 in the entire coaches of the world, Max Allegri and Andrea Pirlo. Pirlo, I give a little bit of slack because he's working on his career. That one, I don't know if that's one that I would really dive a lot into. But if we're going to be honest, one thing we can say is Juventus, the club that you loved, a club that should be one of the premier clubs in the entire world, isn't coached. It hasn't been coached by a top 50 coach in the last, 3 years? In over 3 years. And then if we're going to go back even more, if we want to be more serious here, let me go ahead and list off a couple more coaches that were on that list. Interesting ones, to say the least. Number 18, Roberto Mancini, obviously coaching the Italian national team. Another name we've thrown out there as a potential guy to come to Juventus. That's interesting. And then we go on down the list. Number 23, Gianpiero Gasperini. Number 27, Spalletti over there in Napoli. 40 is Inzaghi and Inter. 41, De Zerbi, who's at Brighton right now. Vincenzo Italiano at 46. So that's another name that I think a lot of people here lately have kind of poo-poo away and say, not coming to Juventus. I don't want him. We'll see. And then, of course, one interesting one, just barely holding on to the top 50, number 49, is Maurizio Sarri. So the last three coaches you've had, or actually really, if you're going to go through the last 4, 5 really, because two of them are our man Max Allegri, have not been top 45 coaches in the world. And that's who you have coaching Juventus. If you want Juventus to get back to the Premier, back to the best of the best, and winning, being the best of the best when it comes to just the Italian league. I don't know. Sorry, I couldn't get that one out. Serie A, just winning Serie A. You got to have the top coach. That's why my vote. We want Antonio Conte. All right, let's continue on. Sorry, that was just more nonsense. Let's be clear. Whenever it comes to, any kind of entity reporting out top coaches or top players or whatever in the world, there's a lot of nonsense that goes in there. But again, statistics matter, and it's interesting to see how Max Allegri is thought of here lately. And we shouldn't be surprised. Obviously, we all feel this way. Time to get a better coach, right? Get a better coach. All right, let's continue on. Let's get into some of these reports and rumors when it comes to the Mercado. What's happening there? Well, first up, we're going to talk about Rabiot and his situation. Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting that as Rabiot's contract with Juve expires this June, the Bianconeri will have one last chance to raise some cash in January for the player's exit. Juve hope to make a small plusvalenza to the balance sheet in the event of a transfer. Chelsea is the team that is a possible destination for Rabiot. I'm interested to see how this goes. There have also been reports about a renewal for Rabiot, which to me doesn't make any sense, especially given his demands that he had Manchester United. I'm doubtful that he's going to really come down to the numbers, the financial numbers that we are expecting players to make here at Juventus. He wanted 11 mil. He wanted maybe more than that at Manchester United, and now he's going to go down from 7. Is he going to come down from 7? I'll believe it when I see it, though this will be an interesting one to see if Juve can move the player coming in January. Speaking of Chelsea and the players that go there and maybe potentially buying Juventus players, one of them, reports seem to be looking not as good. During the last Mercado, Denis Zakaria went to Chelsea, obviously, the midfielder, but now we have reports that Nizar Kinsella is saying that Denis Zakaria is set to hold crunch talks with Graham Potter and Todd Bowie over his Chelsea future this week. The Swiss midfielder has yet to play a single minute for the club and could potentially return to Juventus in January, which would be another bad move, honestly, for the club to have him come back, especially a player who's not been thought of positively since his departure. And also just did he make negative comments about the club in general, right? He and I believe he and also De Ligt also kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say burned bridges, but weren't too loving to our old lady, if you will. That's just one nice way to say it. All right, let's continue on, though, with that same report, though. Fabrizio Romano, it says that Graham Potter, again, on Denis Zakaria. Denny has conducted himself fantastically well with the group. He's fighting for the team. He's been really professional in training, and he's waiting for his opportunity. I'm sure that will come around soon. Which is interesting because, you can make that happen. You all can make that happen. You can make his time happen. So we'll see what happens with him if he ends up staying at Chelsea or if he comes back to Juventus. How do you all feel about that? How do you feel, especially after some of the comments that he made coming back to the old lady? And then, of course, the money that Juve are once again going to be missing out on for a player that they loaned out. All right, let's continue on, though. Talk about other players that could potentially be coming back to the club. And we have a report that now a return of, or actually really it's not even a return because he was purchased and loaned straight out. He never got here. He never really got here. Let's be honest. Tutto Sports reporting that Cambiaso could return to Juventus or come to Juventus early in this January rather than waiting for the summer. It's among the options that the club is taking into consideration at this moment. So that'll be an interesting move. Obviously, we talked about the issues early on this season. We've talked and complained about the issues that we're having at the left back position. But if we're being real, that ain't it. That ain't the entire do-all, end-all fix the solution. That's just a minor bit of duct tape on a huge hole, and that's can be taken really out of context. Anyway, but we will see what happens. Will Andrea Cambiasso come back to Juventus? Is he the left back solution for the club? We will see how that ends up unfolding. Okay, let's continue on, though. We have other reports out here of other players along the back line that Juventus could be interested in. And I will just say this before we even really get into it. Take it all with a massive grain of salt, because right now it's spooky season. Like I said, it's spooky season, and what I mean by that is it means they just like to kind of throw whatever they can against the wall, and then we'll see what sticks. And that's what I think this report is exactly. Gazzetta dello Sport saying that Pedraza and Pavlovic are two names the club are closely following to reinforce the back line. Pedraza, the Spanish, obviously, player, could be a potential option for Juventus to reinforce that area, though I think that's probably one that I feel like is less likely to happen. And then Pavlovic is interesting, right? Because he is a Serbian player, more Serbe Juve, and that's what we're becoming. He's a young player too, 21 years old, I believe, to play as a center back for Juventus. That'd be an interesting one to keep an eye on, especially given the situation right now with guys like Bremer getting injured. You're gonna need somebody to reinforce things. And then, of course, Bonucci probably on his way out sooner than later. Let's continue on, though, and talk about some bigger names. Let's talk about the actual names that may perk up your ears a little bit, names that you may be interested in. And that's this report from Tuttosport, who is saying that Rodrigo De Paul is on his way out of Atletico Madrid. It could be an opportunity for Juventus as well. Milinkovic-Savic remains the dream, while Udinese's Lovric is becoming a popular name at the Catenaccia. So right now, those are names to keep an eye on. Obviously, there's one name here that we all would love to see come to Juventus, and I don't even need to pretend like you don't know who it is. But interesting to see Rodrigo De Paul getting a second opportunity at that player after he had left Udinese. And then I don't know as too much about Lovric, so we'll see how that one continues to develop, and if this becomes a real story, or if this is, once again, names just being thrown at the wall and seeing what sticks for Juve. Let's continue on, though, and let's get into the main one that you know that I want to talk about. And the main one that I want to talk about, of course, is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, and that is a report from Gazzetta dello Sport, who is saying that Juventus remains strong on the Milinkovic-Savic track. Lotito continues to ask for a high price, but the player will only have 12 months left on its contract next June. And SMS has always hinted for liking to play for the Bianconeri. For now, this remains an idea for Juventus. The second part of that goes on to say Giovanni Albanese with this report. So, yeah, you know what we... No negative shots at Albanese, but let's be honest on what we think about some of his most recent reports. But so like I said, take it with a massive rock of salt. He goes on to say that Lazio owner Lotito values Milinkovic-Savic at 100 million, too much for the moment for the Bianconeri, which you can believe that part. But who could start the negotiations on the basis of a loan with a buy option obligation in June of 60 to 70 million euros. So again, these are reports, especially for this Milinkovic-Savic one that's saying out in June. And what I need clarification on, because there's been reports about interest about bringing him in January. I will believe it, even though last year Juventus obviously made the move for Zakaria and then made a move for Vlahovic in the winter mercado. I'll believe it when hell freezes over that Juventus will be able to bring in Sergej Milinkovic-Savic midway through the season, unless that is exactly how desperate this club is. When I say desperate, it's a good desperate, not a bad desperate, right? Bad desperate would mean you're getting a poor coach, you're replacing Max Allegri with some ridiculous coach that you've never heard of and you don't want, or it's not a placekeeper. That's desperate. What I mean by this is they finally smartened up and they said, we're desperate enough, we need a solution, and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic could be the end-all, be-all assault there in the midfield. We got to get him. We got to fix the situation right here, right now, and we're going to help our guy, Max Allegri, don't shoot me, the club's guy, Max Allegri, and try to see out the rest of the season. We'll see. I'm interested to see what he means by that, because does it mean by obligation you spend all the money in June, or does that mean you're going after him in June? If you're going after him in June, who cares about these reports, if we're being honest? We need a solution here, and we need it right now. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that you'll ever see Sergej Milinkovic-Savic in a Juventus shirt? I'm still hopeful, obviously, but again, the club continues to make poor decisions on some of the players that they go out and get. I remain with my flag entrenched in the Kostic, no Kostic to Juventus, and look what happened. I think he's been poor since he arrived, though I have bent the knee on Milik, so I will see. We'll see. But again, I believe it when I see it when it comes to Juventus bringing in Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of the Daily News Rundown. Let me know your thoughts and opinions all in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, stay notified for all of our latest videos. If you haven't already, you can follow me at Justin Sofer on Twitter. And of course, you can follow Bianconerizone at Bianconerizone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri. Say hello to your old lady for me.